It's the Odds Couple, brought to you by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers. The Yanks and Blue Jays tied atop the AL East. Toronto's still the favorites, probably because they own the tiebreaker, but give me the Yankees all day on that one. The AL MVP odds changed drastically overnight, with Cal Raleigh now a pretty big favorite over Aaron Judge after hitting home runs number 59 and 60 last night. To me, Judge is the best, Raleigh is the MVP. All right, Hannah, who's your AL MVP?
I like the way you described that. Judge is the best, Raleigh is the MVP, because I think I agree with that. So if you look at the Fangraphs War right now, it'll tell you that Aaron Judge has the lead on Cal Raleigh. He's got like 9.6, Raleigh's got like 9.1. That's pretty close and really good for both of them. That is almost 2 wins less for Aaron Judge than what he had last year. He's had 2 11-plus win seasons, 2022 and 2024, when he won the MVPs and when he hit 62 home runs in 2022. So to me, it's really interesting to think about the fact that should Judge win the MVP because he's clearly the best? He is the best offensive player in the game of this era, bar none. But this is not his MVP season, whereas this is quite clearly like the best season Cal Raleigh could, will, or ever have. And he's doing more. I mean, he's hitting those home runs, but he's also catching. I was really interested to see whether or not what would sway more voters to Cal Raleigh, hitting 60 home runs or the Mariners winning the division. I love that they did it on the same night. It makes it very easy because one is pure individual prowess, and the other is, I know we don't like to take team performance into account when thinking about MVP, but for a catcher, for a team leader, for a guy who's like vocal in the clubhouse, vocal to the front office, I think you have to look at the Mariners clinching the division, slaying the Dragon in the Astros, and say that guy was valuable. That he changed their season. So I agree. Judge is the best, but this year I would vote Raleigh.
So there's a couple things. You don't want people to just vote for Cal Raleigh because Aaron Judge has had so many, right? And you're like, oh, I'm tired of Judge. Let's pick a new guy. And also, to your point, he is the best offensive player in the league. But Cal Raleigh is literally putting the team on his back. He's the backbone. And I wanted to show you guys this. So the highest WAR by a catcher in a single season. Johnny Bench won the MVP in 1972 with his 40-homer season, 9.2 WAR. Hannah said 9.1 for Cal Raleigh. That's right, 60. He's 3 home runs away from setting the new AL single-season record, and he could do that, right? He's got 4 games left this season that he could do that in. He seems to be on pace to do it. He's catching a top 10 staff in all of baseball. He's playing in the hardest position in the entire game. And I get it, Judge is good at defense. He's average at defense. But when you're putting the team on your back, when you're literally changing the entire landscape of every game because of who you are, not just with your bat, but with your glove, that full body of work to me deserves the MVP. He is my MVP because he's doing it 2 ways. And because what else would Cal Raleigh have to do to win an MVP this season? Judge, you'll never be wrong picking Judge. If you pick Judge, you'll never be wrong. But I do think that it's fair to think outside the little box that we put MVPs in.
I think I'm going to surprise you. Look, if I were a voter, statistically speaking, I don't think it's close. I think Aaron Judge would win the award. However,
that was supposed to surprise me?
Hold on.
Oh.
I'm a sucker for narrative. I love the narrative of what Cal Raleigh and what the Seattle Mariners have been able to do. I take into account the position that he's played. So I am not going to fight anyone on the notion and on the narrative that Cal Raleigh is the American League MVP. And from a Yankee perspective, I'm not going to lie, I don't really care.
Yeah.
The bottom line for Aaron Judge, I wish they would announce that Cal Raleigh is going to be the MVP on Monday so he can use that as motivation going into the postseason like we've seen in other sports with Charles Barkley and Karl Malone and years Michael Jordan didn't win the award, and he stuck it to those particular players. I, for one, Sal, wish they would announce Cal Raleigh as the MVP on Monday so Aaron Judge could use that, hopefully, to the Yankees' advantage.
I want to say one more thing about Cal Raleigh, because like a couple of years, this came out of almost nowhere. A couple of years ago, when he had an up and down season, I think this was his sophomore season, I went out to Seattle and did a bunch of reporting on him, and a lot of people told me that, oh my gosh, he's a future manager. A lot of they say that about catchers.
Yeah, all the time.
But they were like, and he was young at the time, like mid-20s, and they said, this guy's a future manager. And then he went and he hit that home run to break the drought and send the Mariners to the postseason. And the following year, I talked to him about how you'll never have another season so exciting. You'll never hit another home run so big. The fact that he's having this performance this year, like you brought up, can he break Judge's record? I'm wondering, are we going to start cutting into the broadcasts to watch every Cal Raleigh at bat? That's an incredible performance from a guy who's like a great defensive offensive mind could be a manager.
And when you talk about most valuable, if you take Cal Raleigh off the Mariners right now, they're again not a postseason team. They've won their first division in almost 25 years. Because of his huge season. If you take Aaron Judge off the Yankees, they're still a playoff team, at least in my mind. So I would go most valuable, Cal Raleigh.